Welcome to Around the Weird. Here's your host, the museum curator of the strange and unusual, Mr. Nothing.
Thank you, mysterious voice, and welcome back to Around the Weird, a booktube channel where I talk about all the unusual and out of the ordinary literature that I found in my travels. Today, I don't want to talk about a specific book that I read, but rather I want to do the usual wrap-up and TBR for November and December, respectively. In November, it was pretty busy. I went to a conference which took up a huge chunk of time. I enjoyed my time at the conference because I got to present and I also got to hear some interesting ideas that'll definitely help me in my work, but I wasn't able to get to a lot of the books that I wanted to during this month. I feel like I missed a lot as a result. But I did get to read one interesting book on the plane, which I'll talk about when I get there. I always feel it's important to find like a specific book to read on a plane, because it makes time pass a lot better, and being in airports is not exactly a breeze. It's not something that people necessarily want to do, although I'm pretty sure there are people who love the airport life. I'm just not one of them. Now, in terms of December, I have a couple books that I want to get to. Hopefully I'll be able to. I know near the end of December I'm always stopping reading, not reading as much because I'm enjoying my time away from work and just celebrating the end of the year. So I don't know if I'll get to them, but I'll probably get to them in the new year for sure. And then a thing to look forward to, two things. One of them is the top books of the year. I'm still considering that list, and I know for sure that War and Peace will probably be on that list. Something to look forward to, and I always enjoy sharing that list. It's always 10 books. I've been told, especially by Bevan, that it should probably be a little bit longer, but I feel like 10 is a solid number there of anymore, and it's just like the books that I felt okay about might end up on that list, and I only want to present the best that I know I absolutely want to recommend to people out there. And then, of course, there's always that major TBR. I got to a lot of the books that I wrote down in for 2024, but I don't think I got to them all. I think there's still a couple that Lucas recommended that I didn't get to, but I'll probably get to those eventually. And then, making a TBR for 2025. There's a couple books that I think I want to put on there that I just want to get to in 2025, whether it be fiction or nonfiction. It'll be a pretty good list, and there's always a couple of short stories too that I want to check out on that list. So if you got any recommendations, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear from you and just see if I can get to any exciting books that you might recommend in 2025. But without further ado, let's talk about the wrap-up and TBR, and then we'll move on from there. So for November, in terms of movies, actually, Lucas and I ended up watching Matawan, which was a book about, or a movie. We watched a movie about unions and strike breaking in West Virginia. It was a lot of fun. I highly recommend you seek it out because it has some pretty good performances in it. But in terms of books, I read Full Metal Alchemist Volume 1, which I thought was good, although I do think that there were a little tonal issues there, with like two characters like accidentally running into like a horrifying situation where one of them loses their body and gets stuck in a hunk of metal, and then they try to bring back their mom, but they bring back something dangerous and horrifying instead. And mixed in with that are jokes that kind of undermine that. I thought it was fine and pretty good, but I did not really feel the need to pursue that further. I also read Deathnote Volume 2. I thought it was tense and a lot of fun. Just an interesting series. I've watched the anime before, and it's largely adapted from this, but the anime is really good, especially the beginning part of it. So I'm really enjoying kind of seeing that played out and themes kind of elaborated on in this manga. I also read the book Sign Here by Claudia Lux, which I thought was good, but as I said in the video that I made for it, I thought it was poorly paced. The resolution wasn't as interesting as I hoped it would be. But I should note that this is the book that I ended up reading on the plane, which made time flying to and from Denver feel like a bit more of a breeze. And I do like what Lux is really saying about the nihilistic experience of like love and how we create our own hells for ourselves, but for other people as well. It's a sad book, but it's the ideas in it are fascinating and worth considering further. And I do want like another book that kind of takes place in the same universe, maybe not on the same characters, but on sort of exploring this world that Lux has created a bit further. And then I also read Berserk Volume 15. Video should be coming out soon about that. It was a lot of fun. But again, I'm having some difficulties kind of adjusting to the Conviction arc because it's not nearly as in-depth or as enthralling as the Golden Age arc. And it could be the case that, I'm just starting out. But even when I was just starting out with the Golden Age arc, I felt enthralled and I wanted to continue reading it. So I don't really know what's going on there, but I hope it does get better. I also read a number of short stories, including Do You Remember Candy? A pretty interesting sort of science fiction story. I thought it was good. The Prospectors by Karen Russell, which was spooky fun. I think it's the best of the month for short stories. Everything by Alexander Lemon or something like that. I thought it was good. Pretty solid. And then The First Day, which I thought was somber but interesting. A really good month for short stories, I would say. And then a number of poems, some of which were spooky themed as a carryover from the month of October, but still worth reading. Definitely check out my Poetry Thursday playlist if you want more information, more insight into the poetry that I read. But what do I intend to read for December? I have a TBR planned out, and in terms of books, I want to read Jawbone, which was planned for October, but I haven't gotten to it. That's by Monica Ojeda, which I'm really looking forward to because I got good reviews. Forrest Gump, which I picked up from my local library. Don't forget to patronize your local libraries. They might have interesting books such as this. I really like the movie. It's possibly one of my favorites, especially one of my favorite Tom Hanks movie. He has quite a few to choose from there. But I really like the movie, and I'm hoping to see if the book kind of espouses more of those themes, or maybe it's much more silly. I've always heard that it was a little bit silly. The idea of Forrest Gump in general is kind of silly, but the guy who made it, whose name I'm forgetting, who also did Back to the Future, managed to bring a serious tone to it that really made it phenomenal. I also want to get to That Night in the Library, a book that I picked up in June but haven't been able to get to since. Deathnote Volume 3, I want to continue with that. Other comics and some Bevan reads if I manage to get to it. But what short stories do I want to get to? I have a couple that are Christmas themed, one by Elia Peattie and one by Henry Van Dyke. Be on the lookout for that. And then I have a number of poems planned, including some that are winter themed, that I want to check out and read. I do think that I'm reaching a point where I've kind of explored most of the interesting winter themed poems over the past couple of years. And so I'm just sort of getting to maybe the bottom of the barrel. But that could also mean that I haven't looked far enough for those types of poems, because I'm sure they're out there, but they're it's not just going to be right in front of my face all the time. I really got to go and look for that hidden poetry. So hopefully I'll be able to find more in the future. I don't want to end up talking about poems that don't really speak to me, but do have a winter theme, because that just feels forced and not at all what Poetry Thursday is for. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the wrap-up and TBR for November and December. Pretty solid list of good books and stuff that I want to get to before the year ends. If you have any recommendations for me, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear from you and just get a better understanding of what you might be recommending for me out there, or what I might have inspired you to read, because that's a little bit of what this channel is for. Comment below. Otherwise, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so that more people can find out about this channel. Also join the Discord if you want to have further conversations about books, movies, TV, or that kind of thing. Until then, I wish you the best of luck in your weird and holiday-based travels. Farewell.